Hello, my name is Gillian and I'm one of the support accountants here at FreeAgent. We'd like to welcome you to today's webinar, in which we'll provide some tips and tricks for getting a new FreeAgent account all set up. A recording of today's webinar will be emailed out to you tomorrow, so don't worry if you miss any of the details today. Please feel free to ask any questions you may have throughout the webinar using the Q&A box. Any questions we don't get answered by the end of the webinar, we will pop you out an email afterwards with the answer, so don't worry if you don't get an answer right away. Any new piece of kit can feel a bit daunting to use at first, but we've designed FreeAgent to make it as easy as possible to use for everyone, whether or not you're already used to a bookkeeping software. The start of a new tax year, accounting year, or VAT period are all ideal times to start using a new software and give your finances a fresh start. Or it's even just a good time to try out a new software to see if it'll be suitable for your business needs. If you give FreeAgent a try at the start of a new accounting or tax year, you may only need to input a few summary figures, like your bank balance and how much your business owned and owed at the end of the previous accounting year. Today we're going to cover how to easily and quickly bring your year-to-date information into FreeAgent in order to keep track of your finances in real time, so that you can then use your account to file your tax returns and accounts moving forward. I'm going to talk through a limited company account today, but if you're a sole trader, FreeAgent will also work well for you, and I'll try to highlight any differences between the two account types as we go. We also offer partnership and unincorporated landlord accounts as well. Most limited companies should be able to file their end-of-year accounts and corporation tax returns directly to Companies House and HMRC from their FreeAgent account. And most sole traders, landlords, and some limited company directors will be able to file their self-assessments. I'm afraid we don't support filing for partners or partnerships, though. Let's start by going through some key information that should be set up before using your account. The process for entering the data is the same for a limited company as it is for a sole trader or a partnership. Everything on FreeAgent, all of the reports and the calculations, is driven by the dates of the transactions you're going to enter. So you need to make sure your business's accounting dates are set up correctly. To check these, navigate to your business name at the top right, and then select Settings from the drop-down menu. Under Accounting Tax and VAT, you'll find the Accounting Dates option. Be sure you make any changes before you start inputting your account data into FreeAgent, as having the right dates will help keep your account accurate, and if you put in the wrong dates, you could even end up paying too much tax. If you're at all unsure about which date to enter, then we have a really handy article on accounting dates in FreeAgent in our knowledge base, which can be accessed from the bottom of any page in your FreeAgent account. But just to summarise, the company start date is the date on which your business first came into being. If your business is a limited company or an LLP, it'll be the date on the certificate of incorporation from Companies House. For a sole trader or a non-limited liability partnership, this date is normally the date on which you've told HMRC your business started. The trading start date is when your business began trading, and only needs to be entered if this is different to your company start date. Just to make you aware, you won't see this field if you're a sole trader, so don't panic if you can't see it in your account. The first accounting year end date should be the first accounting year end date your business ever had, not the end of the first accounting year you'll be creating in FreeAgent. For sole traders, this is usually the 31st of March or the 5th of April to coincide with the end of the tax year. The FreeAgent start date is the date from which you're going to start doing your bookkeeping in FreeAgent. It can be a historic date, but it's easiest to start your books from the beginning of a new accounting year or tax year, as I mentioned earlier, and this is just to avoid you having to add two sets of figures together when you come to do your accounts and tax return. Please don't enter any transactions dated before this FreeAgent start date, as it could cause errors in your account. Let's talk about some other areas to set up in your settings area, like adding a company logo. To do this, again, navigate to your company name, and then Settings, and select Company Logo. You can then follow the prompts to select a file and upload your logo, and this will then appear on all of your invoices and estimates created in FreeAgent. Another important step in getting set up is to add users to your FreeAgent account, such as employees, partners or shareholders, and directors of limited companies. You can either go back to the main settings screen here, or use the drop-down menu in the current section you're in, like so, and select Users. Another reason you might want to add users is if you have a bookkeeper or an accountant. Simply send them an invitation to give them access to your FreeAgent account, and you can then start working from the same set of books. Some other important details to get set up in your settings area are the company details, which you would have entered when setting up your FreeAgent account, and also your VAT registration details. Now, you may not be VAT registered. However, I just wanted to note this setting as FreeAgent has a really handy workflow to help you if you do begin the process to become VAT registered. You'll see here there is an option to select registration applied for, which then allows you to enter the date you've become VAT registered. This will be the date that HMRC expects you to start charging VAT from, but you might not necessarily have your VAT registration number quite at that date. HMRC do advise that you cannot issue a VAT invoice with VAT showing as a separate line item until you receive the VAT number, but entering the details like so whilst you wait will allow FreeAgent to increase the prices on your invoices by the amount of VAT you would have included on a VAT invoice from that date. HMRC advises this is acceptable, and it just means you wouldn't need to go back to your customers when you do receive the VAT number to charge them more money. You would just need to resend the invoices once the VAT number has been received and entered into FreeAgent to allow your customers to claim back the VAT amount where relevant. For this process, we have some detailed guidance in our knowledge base, so I'd suggest checking that out. Now that we've talked through some different settings in the account, let's talk about some other areas that can be set up before you start using your FreeAgent account. Unless you've decided to recreate all of your business's bookkeeping in FreeAgent from the day you started trading, you're likely to have what we call opening balances to enter. To enter your opening balances, go to Accounting, Journal Entries, and choose Opening Balances from the drop-down here. For existing businesses, as at your FreeAgent start date, your business will probably have had some money in the bank. The figure you need to enter here is how much it had in the bank at the end of the day before your FreeAgent start date. So if your FreeAgent start date was the 1st of April, you're looking for the figure on your bank statement as at the end of the day on the 31st of March, because that's what your business would have started with on the 1st of April. You'll have entered the opening bank balance for your business's main bank account when you set up your FreeAgent account, but if you put in the wrong figure by mistake, or if you put in a 0 to come back to this later, it can then be corrected. Here in my account, you can see my opening bank balances are already there, and there's also an opening balance in my suspense account. This is because FreeAgent knows how much I have in my bank accounts, but it doesn't yet know what my other opening balances were, so it's had to put in a balancing figure for now. I'll click on Edit Opening Balances here, and this then gives me the chance to enter the rest of my opening balances. For instance, as at your FreeAgent start date, your business may have been owed money by some of its customers. In accounting terminology, that's called trade debtors. You might also have heard it called accounts receivable. Both of those just basically mean unpaid invoices, invoices you've issued to your customers but not yet been paid for. What we want here is the figure for your unpaid invoices as at the start of the day on your FreeAgent start date. Your business might also have owed some money to some of its suppliers, and we call that figure trade creditors or accounts payable. There we go. It's the unpaid bills your business had as at the start of the day on your FreeAgent start date. Your business may also own some equipment, for instance, a computer or some furniture, and those are known as fixed assets or capital assets. There are also some other monies your business might have owed. For instance, it may have owed money to the taxman for VAT or to its staff and unpaid wages, as at the FreeAgent start date. If you've been using other bookkeeping software, the best way to collect all of your opening balances together is to print from your software a copy of a trial balance report. Or if you're starting to use FreeAgent as at the beginning of a new accounting year, you could alternatively use a report called the balance sheet. The report should usually be dated the day before your FreeAgent start date. Now, if you've come to FreeAgent from a spreadsheet and don't have a trial balance, your accountant should be able to help you collect those figures. And if you're a sole trader, don't have an accountant, and you've managed to work out some but not all of your opening balance figures, then we'd suggest you can put any difference you can't work out to account 968. Because you and the business are legally the same, and so it's less important if the amount the business owes you changes. If you've got a lot of opening balances, you may prefer to import them rather than typing them in, and there's an article in our knowledge base that explains how to do this. Whichever business type, but perhaps more so for a limited company or a partnership, please seek an accountant's help if you're not sure what the opening balances should be, as there could be legal implications if you don't correctly record how much the business owes to individuals. And if your business is registered for VAT, please make sure you've entered your opening balances for the VAT categories correctly before you file a VAT return through FreeAgent. We have loads more content in the knowledge base about how to make sure your VAT opening balances are correct, as well as fully detailed articles about entering the rest of your opening balances, including stock of goods that you sell and your capital assets. You'll be glad to hear that setting up your opening balances is a one-off task, so once you've completed those, you won't have to do them again. There are some other areas where you can import the information, for example, entering your contacts. You may have details of customers and suppliers, such as their names and addresses, and these can be added to your FreeAgent account by either adding them in manually or by importing them. In FreeAgent, all of your supplier and customer details are held in the same area together under Contacts. So to do this, we would go to Contacts and then click on Import Contacts to follow the steps. You can also import your contacts from a CSV file. Again, there's more information in our knowledge base about all of these options to help guide you through the process. When you have more data in your FreeAgent account, you'll see a list of your contacts like so, and a quick view of how much is currently owed to help keep track of the business finances. Now let's start taking a look at the features of the FreeAgent account that can help you feel more confident in your business finances. First, we'll take a look at the overview screen. Now these handy widgets show you at a glance different areas of your business accounts. Your dashboard here gives you an overview of your current estimates, invoices, projects, and time slips. You'll be able to see your individual bank account balances and an aggregated view of how much you have in the bank in total. You can keep an eye on your out-of-pocket expenses and bills, and view your business's income and day-to-day running costs using the real-time profit and loss widget. Your tax timeline shows your upcoming dates for self-assessment, VAT, payroll, and corporation tax for limited companies, and even how much you need to pay to HMRC. You can also sync this tax timeline with your Google, Outlook, or iCal calendar. There's a feature in FreeAgent called Radar, which can be found by clicking on the bell at the top right. Here you will see an admin to-do list, which is a checklist that highlights outstanding admin tasks to be completed in your account. The Radar feed shows you tailored insights about the performance of the business and also updates to introduce any new free features to your FreeAgent account. I'm now going to show you the different sections of FreeAgent that bring your overview panels to life once you've added the data from your accounts. We're going to start by taking a look at one of the biggest areas in your FreeAgent account, which has some great time-saving capabilities to help keep your business finances on track, and that is banking. You can see your bank accounts by navigating to Banking and Bank Accounts. In this bank account summary, you will see your money at a glance, along with a list of the accounts you may have set up. You're able to create as many bank accounts in FreeAgent as you have in real life, and you also have the option of credit card and PayPal accounts too. Your FreeAgent bank account should be used to mirror your actual bank accounts in order to keep your data as accurate as possible. You can add transactions manually, upload them through electronic statements, or our favourite option, you can set up a bank feed. Bank feeds use open banking technology to provide a secure and reliable connection between your FreeAgent account and your bank. Instead of downloading and uploading electronic statements, once a bank feed has been enabled, your bank transactions will be pulled into FreeAgent automatically through the bank feed. We even go one step further with a FreeAgent feature called Guess, which makes suggestions of payment allocations, allowing for the ease of simply hitting a button to approve and explain those transactions. If you have saved receipts to the Files area of your account using our Smart Capture function, Guess will even automatically assign the receipts to transactions marked for approval. FreeAgent's Smart Capture feature allows you to take photos of receipts or bills that you want to capture in your FreeAgent account for record-keeping purposes. Smart Capture could be accessed through the desktop or on our mobile app. And the FreeAgent mobile app is available on iOS and Android and is designed to be a companion app to work alongside the desktop version and allows for quick and easy access to your FreeAgent account whilst you're out and about. Regardless of how you add your transactions to FreeAgent, explaining bank transactions is a simple process that we can go through just now. You can explain certain items in bulk, like this, or also select a full page if you need to. The type and category options then show here on the panel on the right. And you can also explain transactions individually, and we'll just talk through an example of doing so. Once you've selected on a transaction to explain, FreeAgent will ask you to provide some information about it. You'll need to fill in the type, the category, and the appropriate rate of VAT. If you're unsure which category to use, you can click on our knowledge base link here, and we'll try to point you in the right direction. To help you further, for certain transaction types, FreeAgent may also prompt you to explain additional transactions with similar descriptions to the same category. If there are other similar transactions to be explained, you'll see the option to select all matching transactions. Once you explain your transactions, these will populate your reports in FreeAgent, which I'll go into a little bit further in the webinar. You'll notice that each transaction has a different colour and icon, and you can refer to the transaction status at the bottom of the page for this. Explaining your bank transactions and making sure your FreeAgent bank account mirrors your actual bank account and reconciles is an essential part of keeping your accounts up to date. Now we'll talk about how to record your income in FreeAgent, which can be done in two ways. The first way is to create a sales invoice. You can do this by going to the Work tab at the top and selecting Invoicing. You can see here some invoices we've created earlier. But to create a new invoice, you would click on the green Add New Invoice button. First, you'll put in some general invoice details. For example, you can choose your contact and a project if it's applicable. Set your invoice reference number and select a date using the date picker. And you can also set the currency here. We'll leave this as pounds sterling, but you do have the option to invoice in a number of different currencies. There are some further optional details down here, but I would recommend having a look at our knowledge base to see what additional options are available in this section. We'll now generate this invoice by clicking the Create New Invoice button. You'll see now that FreeAgent has generated a blank invoice for us, and we have a range of invoice templates that you can select from your settings area. There's also an option to create custom invoice themes to allow you to personalize the invoice templates to your business. To add items to your invoice, you can select the green Add Invoice Item button. If there are items that you use often, you can add them as a price list item like so, and choose it from here for easier invoice creation. Alternatively, you can manually enter the quantity, price, and description, and then click Create and Finish. Once you're happy with the invoice, you have the option to mark it as sent at the top here. This will tell FreeAgent that you have sent the invoice to your customer and it's ready to be matched up to a bank receipt. Alternatively, you can actually email the invoice directly to your customer using FreeAgent by clicking the Send by Email button. Once your invoices are logged on your FreeAgent account, you would navigate back to the bank account like so, and explain the cash coming into the bank as an invoice receipt. So I'm going to match up this transaction here and explain it as type invoice receipt and allocate it against the relevant invoice that's been paid. Once explained, this invoice will then show as paid under the Work Invoicing tab, showing this customer has no outstanding balance to pay. If you only received part payment of an invoice, the invoice will show the remaining balance is still due by the due date of the invoice once the initial receipt has been explained to the invoice. Alternatively, if you don't need or want to create invoices, you can instead explain the cash coming into the bank as sales. I'll just select this one transaction here, set it to type sales, and explain the transaction. You can bulk explain transactions explained as type sales by clicking the checkboxes to the left and explaining all the selected transactions, as I showed earlier. There are some integrations which make it easy for you to take your customers' payments automatically, as well as take payments by card. You can find details of the integrations available on the integrations page of our website. There's also a feature in FreeAgent called Projects, which I mentioned briefly when creating the invoice. And what this does is allows you to keep track of different pieces of work you undertake for a contact. You'll be able to allocate income if you're using the invoicing functionality and expenses to the project in order to see how profitable this was for your business. Again, you can find more detailed information on projects in our knowledge base. Next, let's talk about recording the business expenditure. And one way to do this is by creating bills. These are costs that your business has incurred that aren't going to be paid for right away. For example, when a supplier provides payment terms of 30 days. You would enter an invoice you receive from a supplier in the bills section of FreeAgent. Anything that you've paid for personally is an out-of-pocket expense and should not be entered as a bill. Or alternatively, if you don't have a bill to match the payment to, you can explain the transaction in the bank as type payment and choose a category from the drop-down instead of creating a bill, just as we did earlier in the webinar. You can also create additional categories if you need to in your settings area by selecting accounting categories, and this includes adding additional income and asset categories. Next, we'll move on to the My Money tab, as this is where you can record expenditure relating to individual FreeAgent users, such as out-of-pocket expenses, dividends, salary, and it's also where you can access the payroll feature. If you're a sole trader or a partner and the only user on your account, you'll see the tab headed as expenses instead. If you have users added to your account as employees, this will enable the payroll feature, and then you will see the My Money heading. Let's start with talking about out-of-pocket expenses. An out-of-pocket expense is a business cost that you or your employees pay for with personal money and that your business can then reimburse the user for. You can create new expenses and mileage straight from the section by selecting Add New and using either of the drop-down options. You'll see here you can also use the Smart Capture feature to store images and receipts in the Files area of your FreeAgent account, and then use these images to create an out-of-pocket expense, and this autofills the date and the value if known, and will even suggest a suitable cost category for you. Another tab you would see under My Money in a limited company account is dividends. So if you're the shareholder of a limited company who is being paid a dividend, FreeAgent will prepare the dividend voucher for you, along with all the necessary postings in your account. There's more information on dividends in our knowledge base. And as we've mentioned, another section under My Money you might find is payroll. Payroll is a powerful tool that requires just a bit more data. Essentially, to get payroll going, you'll need to set up profiles for any user in your FreeAgent account that will be part of your payroll. We touched on this earlier, but to add a new user, you should go to the settings area of your account. Once you've created payroll profiles for your employees, you will then be able to prepare and run each month's payroll in FreeAgent. This includes the submission of your PAYE information in real time, known as an RTI submission to HMRC. Let's talk about another area where you can see costs relating to your business, and that is the Taxes tab. With FreeAgent, you can easily file VAT, payroll, corporation tax, and self-assessment returns directly to HMRC. FreeAgent helps sole traders, landlords, and directors of limited companies by calculating your tax liability in real time based on the transactions in the FreeAgent account. Once you have a look over the numbers that FreeAgent's calculated, you'll be able to file your self-assessment tax return directly to HMRC. For VAT, we support annual, monthly, and quarterly returns for both invoice and cash accounting and the flat rate scheme. The return updates in real time so that you can keep an eye on how much you may owe to HMRC at the end of the VAT period. When you start using FreeAgent, submitting a VAT return to HMRC will be a breeze. All you have to do is follow the steps to connect FreeAgent to HMRC for Making Tax Digital for VAT, which you can find here in the Connections and Add-ons area. Then, when your transactions have been explained and you've checked over the full report, like so, you just select the File Online with HMRC button. This button will appear here at the top right once you're connected to HMRC for Making Tax Digital and once the VAT period has ended. You can check out our website for more information on Making Tax Digital for VAT. FreeAgent can also work out your company's PAYE and NI liabilities when you're using the payroll feature. And if your business is a limited company, you can also calculate the corporation tax due based on the data in the FreeAgent account. Let's take a look now at some areas in your FreeAgent account that can help you understand your business finances and feel more confident in your accounts. One area designed to help with this is the cash flow feature. FreeAgent's cash flow feature calculates the money coming in and going out of your business across a 90-day window to provide a measure of business health and to show you a projected future balance. It uses data from other areas of your account, such as your bank accounts, invoices, bills, VAT returns, and even payroll to perform the calculation. You can customize the data that FreeAgent displays in the cash flow report, and you can also send quick send invoice reminders from the cash flow dashboard to remind customers to pay once an invoice becomes overdue. Under the Accounting tab, the end of year section allows limited company directors to use FreeAgent to prepare the company's final accounts to meet the FRS 105 financial reporting standard for micro entities and file them with Companies House. And as we mentioned, you can also file your corporation tax returns with HMRC. Again, there's more information on this in our handy knowledge base, which you can access from the bottom of the screen. Going back to the Accounting tab, the Reports section provides you with a collection of essential reports on your company as generated by the real-time data in your FreeAgent account. These reports are so helpful for providing an understanding and give you some specific details about your business. Some commonly used reports are the Profit and Loss Report, which is a summary of your business's trading during a given period of time. The Customer Sales Report breaks down the income you've received from each of your customers. On the opposite side of that, Spending Category Reports shows where you're spending your money, including your categorised bills, expenses, and bank transactions. And the Show Transactions area displays all your transactions in each of the different accounting categories in FreeAgent. This list can also be known as the Nominal Ledger or the General Ledger. This is only some of the list, but all of these reports are available at your fingertips. What I've covered in this webinar is only a brief overview of some of the powerful tools that FreeAgent offers to help run your business with ease and confidence. On to some resources that will help you on your FreeAgent journey. If you run into issues or have any specific questions about your data in FreeAgent, just click the Help button at the bottom right of your screen here, and Ruby the Robot will either suggest some answers from our knowledge base or pass you on to our support team. For example, if I ask how to explain a transaction, we should see that Ruby will give us some wonderful articles from our knowledge base, but if they don't help, you will be given the option to get in touch with our support team. And this will either be by live chat if it's during our office hours, or you'll have the option to leave us a message. We offer live chat from 9 AM till 5 PM Monday to Thursday and 9 AM till 4 PM on a Friday. In those same hours, you can also phone our support team directly or get in touch via email. You can find our phone number and email address listed on the Contact Us page of our website, so please do reach out if you have any questions. You may be asked for a support code when contacting us, and this code is used as a security step when contacting our support accountants and allows us access to your account. This can be found by navigating back to your company name, into your settings area, and support access is located in the My Company section. When you select Grant Access in the FreeAgent Technical Support Access area and save the changes, you'll then see a unique 8-digit code on the right-hand side. The other way to access this generated code, if available, no matter what screen you're on, is by scrolling to the bottom of the page and selecting Support Access. Another fantastic resource we've mentioned throughout this webinar is our knowledge base, which again, you can always find at the bottom of your screen here. And this is full of visual step-by-step guides and easy to follow videos. You can type your problem into the search bar here, or you can also browse by section. I hope this webinar has given you the confidence to give your finances a fresh start by trying FreeAgent. Thanks for joining us today, and please don't hesitate to get in touch with us if you have any further questions.